Whole world, I just wanted to share this article or just to read it out loud. This text or letter that I've published recently on my Facebook public page, and the letter or the text resounds like this. In fact, no matter whatever anyone thinks, this is a today's realistic, challenging thing in my own life. For almost 6 years, I've been and still am I continuously, night and day, without a 1 minute pause, hypnotized until now into my mind in Czech language by Czech people, by the Czech neighborhood, through witchcraft, supernatural, physical, painful forces being sent into my heart, like in the Matrix movie. I don't know whether you've watched the movie Matrix, course Matrix, but doesn't matter right now. Continuing. Sometimes it has been too much painful in my head, and sometimes not at all. And not only by Czech neighborhood, I've been being persecuted, but also by anyone passing by me on sidewalks of Czech towns or cities and Czech streets. And it hasn't been only one town of Znojmo hypnotizing me into my mind from distance, but also the entire province of 11 million of Czech inhabitants, plus other nations of the European Union and all other continents. Despite that, what I've been going through, and despite that, it's been so challenging to be going through that, that's also very easy piece to be making it successfully. What's been and is their purpose of it all? Imagine this maybe weird but also miraculous situation. I otherwise born at the territory of Czechia at 1995, but I've never become a Czech citizen officially, and I ain't that until now. I have known many Czech inhabitants, but they have never known me alone, for I have never uncovered the truth about myself to them. Neither my biological parents at Czechia have never known me, but I have known them a little bit, but they never me alone, not at all. Especially after my arrival from Germany, from Berlin city, for it has been totally a different person like never before, unrecognizable. And what's been actually their purpose of hypnotizing me directly into my mind? First, to remove from me alone that ability of speaking fluent American English, and to remove my American English language completely from my mind, and to switch me totally only to Czech language. This wasn't only myself alone experiencing that, but also other foreigners dwelling at the territory of Czechia. The reality of Czechia, at the territory of Czechia, you don't speak only Czech language at Czechia. You're a fool in our sight, or disappear from Czechia completely. You know, and this isn't a conspiracy theory, but instead my own experience at many places throughout the entire territory of Czechia. Then to make a Czech citizen from me alone, for I have never been connected to Czech citizens by hypnotization. And moreover, I have never slept with no Czech citizen, nor have I never given no descendant to the Czech official system. All Czech citizens have, but I never, not at all. And even one more thing, they have always been being completely different than myself. And I have never had the Czech mindset. What's that interesting thing? The entire civilization of the entire Earth's planet has been and still is listening to my mind, also from their own places, from distances. And they all see through my eyes, through witchcraft, through satanism and so on. But Czech residents make from me a Czech communist speaking in Czech language, but never being myself it. Nevertheless, I must be completely quiet without saying a word through my own mouth. This all is crazy, but I will endure it. The entire world doesn't want to become Czech communist-minded citizens speaking in Czech language. So do I alone not. But the entire world wants to listen to me alone, especially rather in my own physical presence. This is just a process of a warfare and a fight in my own self-existence. Simon Paul, a Yeshua supernatural Apostol-Missionary, a Yeshua's representative before the entire civilizational world, and a Yeshua's heavenly worldwide reporter. This is something about me and about my own situation that I've been going through throughout the entire 6 years, the 6th year, and for 6 years, and that's something what is really challenging, but also that's something what is I believe personally that's necessary to for anyone who wanna be different than this world. That's condition for them to be going through that, and maybe not like that exactly always and forever, but I mean that persecution itself is really no one who is against the system can skip it, can get rid of that so easily. But that's a process of our life on this planet, and that's so even though that's been really crazily challenging, I am being supernaturally strengthened in my inner man by the Yeshua's supernatural spirit, but not by witchcraft, but by supernatural, but by another spirit that is not from witchcraft sources and forces, but that comes from another spirit, not from these worldly principles and the worldly forces and the principalities and witch doctors and the wizards and so. That's completely different, and also it doesn't mean that it is less powerful or that it isn't supernatural. Not at all. That's a supernatural, both of the or either the Yeshua spirit, but also witchcraft spirit. And that's for in general, especially nowadays, human beings usually have such a mentality and false imagination about that stuff, about this stuff, this thing. That only wizards and wizards and witches have that ability of the supernatural, but that's wrong. That's not true. That's a totally a lie, and this false reality and a false imagination, and also a lack of information, and that's also a sign of disinformation and misinformation, and a sign of a lack of information about this stuff. and therefore when human beings aren't informed enough, they are persuaded about, wrongfully persuaded about the stuff that only wizards and witch doctors and witches are only those who have the supernatural ability. But actually, there is also another supernatural spirit and kingdom and ability that comes not from this world, not from witch doctors, wizards, witches, and witchcraft itself, and sorcery, but also there is the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Yeshua's kingdom. It is supernatural, and also that's supernatural. You know, it's not powerless. That it is not powerless. That is very powerful, and also that's also more powerful than witchcraft spirits and witchcraft forces and so on. Therefore, that's not about controlling human beings. Yeshua spirit and Yeshua supernatural things are not for the purpose of controlling human beings. That is only a witchcraft spirit and witchcraft forces, but Yeshua spirit is the supernatural ability of salvation of our lost corrupt souls, of human lost corrupt souls, and for no one and nobody else is able to save and redeem and adopt human souls, human lost souls, than Yeshua's spirit or Yeshua's sacrifice itself, you know, and that's important for you to know that right now. You imagine one thing, this thing. Did you want to fight against, for instance, against communism, against fascism, against Nazi propaganda, and so on, and you want to overcome that, but you will never overcome that by and with another propaganda or another mentality that is from this world. You know, for instance, I wanna overcome fascism by communism, or communism by fascism. For it is all is the same practically, but a little bit different, different strategies, different intrigues and tactics, and for the purpose of controlling the whole civilization, the entire civilization, you know, and that's just a play, just a game with human beings. Therefore, that's a really foolishness to think and believe and persuaded to be being persuaded about that human beings can overcome, for instance, communism by fascism or opposite. That's really a foolishness. For it is impossible to do that. For Satan, who's behind it all, behind fascism, behind communism, behind Marxism, behind, you know, whatever, Nazi propaganda and regime, and behind fascism, behind all other you know, regimes and propaganda and so on. That this behind it all is Satan, you know, and you may believe that or not. You may believe that Satan exists or not. Doesn't matter, for he exists. His existence is real. it will influence your life, and you will feel that physically, even if you don't believe that he exists, that you don't believe in his existence. For it is, and you can call it however you want, however differently. That's not Satan. That's the devil. That's not the devil. That's Lucifer, or that's not Lucifer. That's just the word, or that's not just that's just that isn't just the word. That's just the human beings, or they are imperfect, and so on. You may call it however you want, but it is always evil, and the evil is always evil and never will be good. Evil will never be good. The good and the goodness and it always be as it is, and it will never be changed. Therefore, for instance, in the West, there's such mentality, and I know that, and I've experienced that. I was being somehow brought up with such mentality in my childhood and so on. It's such sweet treatment, so that I don't be so harsh and sour and so on, but sweet and calm, for the purpose of quenching my anger and my hatred, and I had been even more hateful like never before, and therefore that's such treatment, sweet treatment, honey treatment, that's common in the West, but almost no Czech citizen was being treated by such treatment, and also my own parents have never been treated like that, like me, which is interesting, and so also in the east side of the world, there is another kind of different kind of a different kind of treatment and upbringings, and that's really direct and harsh and sour, that you will obey this and this and this, and you can't be different, like you can't think differently, you must be this or that, but in the East you have no choice to decide and think and live differently than they have commanded you to be and to live. That's another treatment, and I was being treated all my life, since my early childhood also, so sweetly, and that's also a kind of manipulation and witchcraft, sweet honey treatment, and really honey treatment, and that's for the purpose of calming and calming human beings and individuals and quenching their behavior, quenching their fire and their and so on, and bringing them down, and shutting their mouths and so on, so And if you submit to that, such a sweet and honey treatment, you will become quiet completely. And my quietness is just temporary. I believe so. That's not when I don't speak through my mouth, and that's just really temporary. That's not forever. I believe so. For I want to teach others. I want to use my mouth, my tool of my tongue, and of my speech, and of my gifting of speaking fluently and explaining and teaching things and so on. For it is necessary also, but that's just one chapter of my life, one chapter of quietness of my life, and for the good of others and the whole civilization also, not for my good only, or my benefits, not at all. This for the purpose of and the benefits of others. I wanna benefit others. I wanna benefit the world, and therefore I react like that, and I behave like that as I'm being guided by the Spirit of the King, Lord, and God, Yeshua HaMashiach, within my inner man and through my flesh, my own flesh, and through my life, and so this is a really that's really important to have it on mind that this is really very very good thing to be being led and guided by the Spirit of Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, and to be being led and guided by the Spirit of the Lord Yeshua HaMashiach isn't being controlled by him, like by the Spirit, like a robot, or like a puppet, but that's being guided voluntarily. This for instance, I have particular confidence in something that the Spirit of Lord Yeshua Mashiach guides me somehow in some direction, and into making particular decisions in my own life, and I do that, and I obey that, and I don't obey such a hypnotization from no one, but I obey only the Spirit of Yeshua Mashiach, of the King Yeshua Mashiach, who dwells within me and works through my life, and who gives me the perfect wisdom, like no one nor nobody on this planet could have ever given me. So that's really important to have it on mind. And so that's all what I wanted to mention right now concerning my own situation in my life and so on. So be courageous and never giving up, never lose that courage and that focus, the right focus on the right things, which is in my side and only it is important. For one time I've known that, and I keep holding on to that, and that's focus in my life, and it is Yeshua's perspective in my life, Yeshua's heavenly perspective, and in the heavenly spheres, and different, and Yeshua's reality, which is a different reality than this worldly realities, worldly realities on this planet. So that's all what I wanted to speak right now. So bye for now.